You know the deal, everybody. Welcome back to Town Talk Tuesdays.
Got another one.
You
Come
know
on.
the deal, y'all. We
Town
back with
Talk
the
Tuesday.
Goghs. How you guys feeling, man? It's been a little second since y'all been back.
Oh man, it's been chill.
That's
Feeling good, feeling good.
Good to have
Solid,
the OGs
smooth.
back. So, I mean, we gonna start it off with the hot town news, Lou. 70 degrees on Thursday. What's going on
Oh
with the
man, yeah. You talking to the weatherman? Weatherman's talking. But no, we got 71 degrees. What in two days?
city? Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah, on Thursday. So
Yes, sir.
yeah.
What you guys gonna do in the sun? Or y'all be
Sun's out.
in the house with it? What you guys on? What you guys feeling?
I'm gonna be slightly outside, maybe in the backyard or something like that. Outside in the crib, but outside. Same old.
We ain't really outside until skip
Skip
day,
day.
Officially
Yeah.
transpires, gets us into that outside mode. But until then, we just at the house chilling, getting things ready, making sure the moves are all set, making sure things are all worked on, perfect condition,
Indeed.
everything is, looking right, Now we got the weather to make things right,
Come on. And speaking of skip day, let me just throw that flyer back on here.
Yes,
for
sir.
the
Yes,
audience.
sir.
Okay.
Just to have it here for the audience. Y'all
Another
see it.
Come
We
on.
got
Gantry
the
Pug
skip
House.
day.
You see it.
8 p.m. to close, so probably about 8 p.m. to about 2 a.m. we gonna be getting active. Skip day. You see the two goats right there. Special performance by Leon Hendrix, y'all.
The one
21
and
up
only.
for show.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we'll see y'all there on April 29th.
It's
Y'all
gonna
know
be
the
fun,
deal.
y'all.
Come
Slide
on.
through. Slide
Come
at the
on.
gantry. April 29th.
Come on. But yeah, let's get into this too. So in Seattle, they have the Vincent Van Gogh Museum up until April 29th. And our cousin Anjanette, who came on Town Talking, talked to us about real estate and gave us all those gems on the Wanna Buy a House episode. She went to it and it's going crazy, y'all. Like, I got to get in there. We might have to go visit the Van Gogh Museum because
No, I definitely want to go.
they got projectors and like strobe light things on all 6 walls. And y'all thinking it's a hexagon, but nah, it's the floor, the ceiling, and the walls. Some crazy stuff, all the art stuff, and you can just be inside the exhibit. It's
Exactly.
pretty cool, yeah.
So is it more? It's obviously just a visual,
It's
no sound at all.
No,
so
no,
you kind of get his experience on things or
Yeah,
something.
it's more of a visual, but you can also go in and like they have some of his like templates to like draw in and like paint yourself. So it's hands on and like.
Okay.
But from the video, I seen someone's YouTube channel video on it, and they actually there was some sound there. So maybe they just have some little background like
Yeah,
soundtrack.
I'm pretty
but,
sure they got
Yeah.
some sound and stuff.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
we
Multimedia.
we just know Van Gogh is he's famously deaf. So I wasn't sure if we were getting like a submersive experience as far as his side of the things. Like
Yeah.
you're basically in his world. You're just seeing all these visual stuff, and there's no sound at all. And it just
Yeah.
like looks like there's a whole bunch of sound. Like that would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
But
that would be
you
hell
know
of an
how,
experience.
you know how modern era people do it. They just,
Everybody got to.
they just want to profit off of things, so they
Yeah.
don't really cater to a personal experience that would be relatable to the actual situation. Like, I'm pretty sure if we were to put together a Jimi Hendrix experience, the actual family, put together a Jimi Hendrix experience, it would be the most personal experience. But what you guys would get now would just be a whole bunch of bull. So.
Exactly. Especially from that,
Yeah.
they first created what they call now the Mo Pop Sound Museum downtown. It was originally created by Paul Allen as the Experience Music Project because
sir.
of Jimi Hendrix himself. And
Yes,
growing
sir.
up, we used to have access to there. Like growing up, that was like one of the last
Yep.
things our family actually had access to, and
Yep.
now we don't. And it's just a lot of
Exactly.
BS. But we know the truth, and we're gonna keep pushing along.
Facts.
You know it.
Just a little quick shout out. It's an early birthday. Her birthday's tomorrow, but happy heavenly birthday to grandmother. Her
Happy
birthday's
birthday, grandmother.
Indeed, happy birthday.
her birthday's tomorrow, and yeah, she raised these generations that you see today, all the way up from Jimmy and Leon to what you see today, and us. Me, Malik, George, Justin, literally everybody in our generation. She's seen them.
Come on.
And raised them. So
She blessed us on our travels to get to where we need to go for real. So we
Absolutely.
gotta keep paying that forward for her.
absolutely.
Real
It's a
talk.
blessing.
Real grandmother of the family tree. So yeah.
In other town sports news, we talking about Duke just because Duke really is just Paolo. He's the whole
facts.
team.
Oh,
He's
man.
dominating
Facts.
the team. But I'm just saying.
Shout out number 5.
So what do you guys feel about Duke falling in an ugly fashion, and then UNC, who beat them, chokes the title away with a 20-point lead? How you guys feeling about that?
Well, I hate to say it, but
That's tough.
it was in similar fashion as my Zags went down, and it's tough because really it's it's just one of those things where you just jinx yourself. You just think that just people are just a walk in a park, but it's March Madness for a reason. And you always have to take that in consideration.
Yeah.
You never bet against the next man because it could be your last day too.
Oh, for sure.
And that's what a lot of people have seen in Duke. A lot of people talked about the Zags. Oh, this is the why that they're in the weak conference. They never should have made it far. And you guys didn't make it that far either. You guys didn't get the chip either. So, it all goes into, the same conversation of just support your local people, show that love and,
that's what I'm saying. And
appreciate the experience.
Exactly. Speaking of that support, I'm just happy to see the town on national TV.
Exactly.
Paolo got the whole he got the whole town tatted on his arm.
Exactly.
I was loving seeing that in the game. I was like, man, he's definitely want to.
He's putting
Seattle's finest.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Come on. Yeah, he's joining
that's
them.
One right there. Number 1 overall pick. Got to give it to him.
Yeah.
He was dogging. He was hooping this year.
Yeah. I'm hoping that he's number 1 overall. That's what I'm saying. It's just those things to where they get,
he's number 1 overall.
That instance just blows out of proportion and people's, make a big deal out of what it was. Like, it's just one of those times where it's like, we all know athletically gifted, talented, he's number 1, no doubt, but there's still that speculation that's in the air just because of what happened and the way just people talk on Twitter and they boost other players' profiles up. Like, it's similar to how, when Zags went to the championship last year and we lost to Baylor, even though UCLA versus Gonzaga was like the championship game, was like, like everybody's seen this year was North Carolina versus Duke. And they're like, oh, that was the championship game. The game last year was even better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just have to give it out there that, they're just too close. Those some people have it easy, like Baylor versus Houston, their way to the actual championship game was like a breeze. They won, they beat Houston by 30, but UCLA and Zags went overtime, And that's just that that extra energy that they spent out on the floor with the same days to recover as, Baylor. And that was like, what, 2 days? They only get 2 days from Final Four to go into the championship game. So, I mean, looking at it at that, like, you just have to take it in perspective that things could shift because the kid from Baylor ended up rising in the draft polls. 45. The one that was Donovan Mitchell's number. Mitchell?
Davion Mitchell.
Davion Mitchell.
Yeah.
Who the Sacramento Kings.
And he's a really good hooper and everything, but those draft profiles build as as the games continue, they keep on going.
I mean, even after the season ends,
exactly.
all the off-season stuff that's gonna happen, and
exactly,
the talks
exactly,
and the training and
honestly,
all of that, the draft combine. But
like I still see
who's the top 3 worst teams in the league right now?
Top 3 worst?
Is it
you got
is it the top 3 in the draft set right now?
Yeah, you got Houston.
I mean, obviously no lottery, but I'm saying
Houston,
is it pretty set?
Detroit and
Portland there?
No, Magic, Detroit, and Houston are the 3 worst teams for a fact.
Okay, so I'd say probably Magic.
The Magic are the worst record. The Pistons have second worst record, and Rockets have third worst record.
You think Magic are gonna jinx it though, and get Paolo, being that they've invested in overall with Mo Bamba, and he was just.
But they just got Jalen Suggs.
That's what I'm saying. They're solid at the point guard
they're solid
position.
at the point guard.
But I'm saying they also
need.
Paolo is like a franchise player. Like he's a franchise.
Paolo is what they need.
A LeBron type.
He is. But I'm saying they also have Jonathan Isaac. They also have
power forward. I mean,
isn't that what Paolo's playing?
He is, but you can move to the 3.
No, you can't.
Paolo's playing all
no,
time.
you can't. No, you can't.
You can move him to the 3.
No, you can't.
You can move him to the 3.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
I mean, he's from the town, and
yes, you can. He moves. He moves well.
Hey,
he'd be the best.
Hey, he's a weapon, no doubt. But I don't think he's quick enough. I mean, that's just.
He has a fast.
It's just common sense because it's like
the ball quickly.
He's not fast as Jaden McDaniels, and Jaden McDaniels.
Oh, you're tripping. You're tripping.
You think Paolo's flying down the court like Jaden?
He's faster than Jaden. Like, you talking about movement-wise, I say...
on the court?
did you see Jaden? He had to progress it to what he is now.
I'm saying he's just
NBA
more
experience. Obviously, he's gonna get better. But I'm saying Jaden at UW, he has the great crossover, but he's slow. He's not really fast. He's not blowing by anybody. He's not blowing by somebody. But that's why Paolo's I said blowing by and spinning around. He's hitting moves that are more small forward-esque and power forward-esque instead of center-esque. So I say power forward. Obviously, but I could think he could move to the 3.
It's just tough because the NBA is just a whole nother speed, and they were already they're already super strict on Zion being the 3. Mm-hmm. They're like, no, you're a power forward, even though you're what is he 6'7" or
6'9"?
He's 6'9". He's that tall. It didn't seem that.
Paolo?
No, I'm talking about Zion.
Oh, sorry.
And Zion got moved to the 4.
Oh, he's 6'9".
Zion 6'9"?
I would hope so.
I thought he was a little short like Draymond. But, I
mean, hope so.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're not quick enough, I just don't think he's...
Do you think Chet's... I mean, I think he did, but do you think Chet put in,
Chet's not going... I don't think he's leaving... I don't think he's leaving this year. Oh. I think he's going next year. Drew Timmy's going this year, and Drew Timmy's first round.
You don't think Chet's leaving?
I mean, he could, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't.
Chet's leaving.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because look, right now, Chet reminds me of Pogoshevsky.
He can.
Hey, he reminds me of Pogoshevsky for the OKC because he needs to get some more weight and strength now.
But at the same time,
I think he already knows he's solid. Regardless, I think what was pressuring these kids to enter the draft early was finances, right?
Yeah.
Now they can be paid off of their name.
Right.
I don't think it's not that serious for him.
No, this is the serious of it though. At his height.
He's seen Drew Timmy though.
But at his height, how long is his career gonna be?
That's what I'm saying. Why
would you take another year? Because
he wasn't the man this year. Drew Timmy was, and Drew Timmy's going first round.
Okay, of course Drew Timmy.
He's
older. He's older, but you can't say Chet wasn't the man. Chet was still averaging 17 and 10.
Well, yeah, and
3 blocks.
Timmy was doing this last year.
But that's Drew Timmy, and he got injured.
Nah, he would play. Well, he got injured, but it wasn't derailing the season for him.
That's what I'm saying. Chet's not working with no injury.
Of course not. But this is what you do now that being that, now that you can get paid off your name, you're not hurting for financially. You're not hurting. But
I get it.
But also,
what if he got hurt next year?
What do you mean? He's preparing for the NBA, as far as like George said, getting his weight up, getting his diet right. He's more focusing on those things. He's
still gonna play though.
Because you got to look at it. Regardless, either draft that he enters, he'd only be a guaranteed one next year. He'd be guaranteed number 1 overall next year. This year,
don't work that way, buddy.
It's slim. Yeah, it do.
No.
He was already spectacle top 3 this year.
There's gonna be somebody filthy, but that's like.
But he can shoot. He can actually shoot.
He didn't fall off.
He undoubtedly a center.
Yeah, he didn't fall off like Imani Bates. Like, people are actually questioning Imani Bates now.
He's someone who can't fall off though. When you look at Chet Holmgren, he already has the physical size and he has the talent to where he can shoot. Mm-hmm. That's a lanky big dude who can shoot, and he has a clip.
Yeah,
and he's physical in the post, but he's just skinny. Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying. He's just gonna use this offseason and the next year. I wouldn't be surprised if
he stayed all 3 years or 4.
No, he would only stay 2 years. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you think so?
Rui stayed 3, and Rui is doing Rui stuff still. He's putting up 30-point games.
Right.
He's now coming off
his freshman year. Did Rui play like that?
Yeah.
How much did he average?
He averaged 15.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been a starter with the Wizards his whole career, but
no. I'm talking about at the Zags.
Oh, at the Zags?
I thought he was out the first year.
His first year, he didn't even know English.
Yeah.
That's what kept him coming from the bench. He came from the bench, but he wasn't starting because he couldn't understand anybody. That's literally just a communication issue. But I mean, the Zags prep guys, Chet doesn't look at Gonzaga like, oh, this is a one and done school. This is a school where you can Gonzaga out of all the schools. And that's why I really love Gonzaga, not just because, I'm a big fan of them and everything, but because the way that they treat their players, they know that they don't have to do one and done. That's not your only chance at getting to the NBA. What they do is they basically mature, players. Brandon Clark, he was not even on the draft profile until he transferred to Gonzaga from San Jose State.
Right.
And now we know Brandon Clark as
a major contributor to the Memphis Grizzlies. The second best record in the league, Memphis Grizzlies.
Exactly. Killian Tilly stayed all years and he still got drafted. You know, there's numerous instances where you don't even have to play. Killian Tilly didn't even play. Not even until the conference play.
He still got drafted
in March Madness, and he still got drafted. So Gonzaga, they know how to treat their players, and they know that maturity is with the game. Like, the more the NBA teams also look at it, and that's the reason why Gonzaga players have easier transition, is because they know how to play team ball. You know, it's not them. They're the only ones scoring, you know, on the team. They're the only ones putting the team on their back. Like,
there's at least 3 players averaging 10 points.
But, you know, you live and die by that. So, like, when you saw, like, shots weren't falling for, you know, everybody, I mean, that's just how the game goes.
Yep.
But maturity-wise, you see it in everybody. You've seen it in all the – and that's why the reason why their players have longevity. We talk about Kelly Olynyk. That's someone who's not a superstar in the league, but he's going to have a longer career than most superstars.
Yep.
Like, look at how long he's been in the league. You know,
Big
Turioff, that was one of the early 2000 draftees from Gonzaga. You know, Ronnie Turioff. And how long of a career did he have?
He had a long career.
Long career. Like, Gonzaga builds these, you know, players with longevity. So I think that Chet's not looking in his mind that this is a school like Kentucky where, you know, they have another Chet coming in. There's not another Chet.
No.
You are the only one. So I feel like he's taking that into consideration and really benefiting from the fact that you can now get paid as a college player off of your name and likeness as a player. You can get paid off of that. So it's not like you're hurting financially.
No.
You're actually basically just waiting for that big check to come. I mean, you're cooling. Like, everything's paid for. You're just, you know, going through school for free. You know, everything is natural right now. It's not in a rush for things to happen. And especially if you can pull off a degree from Gonzaga, that holds a lot of weight, you know?
That's big.
It's
not. Shout out from the comments, Fresh Kid 206.
Hey, come on.
Oh, yes,
come
sir.
on.
It's another town.
Come on.
You know the deal. Hey,
Easy.
but, I mean, wrap it up, though. Sum it up, though, on the Hoopers, on the sports scene, because we're going to get into our main discussion next.
Oh, yeah. So, just overall, I mean, players from the town, we all know that we're just one of a kind. You know, we have crazy competition up here.
Oh, let's see what the comments talking about.
He said, put on weight,
honestly.
You see Bobo on top. Exactly. So you already know that this is basically how the town rocks, and
there will only be one KD.
There will
Facts.
only be one
There
KD.
will only one and
Exactly.
only. No one can be that skilled at KD's size. It'll never happen again at that size, I swear.
Exactly. No. So you know
that the one and only.
Yeah. Being now we're at a modern age where players can benefit from being in college basketball and, you know, making some money from it too. Might as well take advantage of it because we know regardless that we're going to get into the league. We're the most, you know, professional players, you know, ready.
Yeah,
NBA
ready and just mature and ready for the real world on top of the NBA for sure.
Absolutely. And that's the reason why Paolo is one and done. We're
gonna be keeping close tabs on the draft and seeing which team he goes to for sure, because that team gonna be getting the drip, man. Just like the Houston, we mess with Houston, man. Just like the Spurs.
If Paolo goes to Houston, that would be brazy. Him and KP and a little Jalen Green, come on.
And baby boy a couple hours away.
Wow.
But yeah, y'all, let's get into our main discussion. Y'all, I had to just talk about the parts of Seattle. We haven't got to it yet on Town Talk. And you know, we all about the town here at Town Talk. And on this Tuesday, I kind of want to, let's just discuss about the 4 major areas of Seattle: West, Central, North, and South. Or, you know, for Central, you could say East Seattle too.
Come on.
So we're going to just get into it. We'll start off with West Seattle. Let's talk about what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and maybe some memories. This will be our little West Seattle segment for a couple minutes. So my first memories about West Seattle was, you know, my Aunt Muffin, her and Big T, Rich Rail, long live Rich Rail, living over there in West Seattle over the little bridge, you know, all that. So
yes, sir.
Those are my earliest memories, you know, going to West Seattle. We used to play over there at Judkins Park too, like, or is that the CD? I think Judkins is West.
Judkins is in CD.
CD, okay, cool. But wherever we played at, it was in the West though. We used to
probably Delridge.
I hooped at Delridge too, for sure. So
Southwest.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about the West, and what has it meant to you for West Seattle?
Well, I mean, I went to school in the West, and yeah, it was everything growing up. As far as it was almost like it was just a thing as a kid. Like, you know, being in Seattle, you always vision West Seattle. You always make it synonymous with Alki. So anytime that I would actually see West Seattle as a kid, the sun would always be shining. So I always thought it was like growing up. You know, you just a curious kid and everything.
It did feel like an out of this world part of Seattle. Yeah, like an out of this world part. Yeah.
I literally always associated as it being California of Seattle. Like, being that they had California Ave over there, too. Mm-hmm. Literally, every time we went to Seattle, I was like, oh, I'm in Cali. Like, growing up, that's what I associated with.
That is how it felt.
Yeah.
Though.
But, yeah, that's
kind of like my experience in West Seattle. It's always felt segregated, if anything. But, man. Yeah, West Seattle, it's a beautiful place over there.
Definitely.
It's a nice community. I've always, had fun over there. Met some folks down there, but it's West Seattle. I'm from the East, so I don't think I was really over in West Seattle that much until I got into, like, maybe middle school.
Yeah.
Definitely, like, the Dale Ridge playing basketball.
Facts.
But, yeah, other than that, it's been chill.
Yeah, we love the West, man. And, man,
I think it definitely has its own community.
Definitely.
Has its own vibe.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
but, like, I don't know.
I will say this, like, West Seattle, it has its own, like, aesthetic of people. Like, when you think of someone from West Seattle, if they're white, they're gonna be probably the most like I wouldn't say cliche. But like the cultured surfer, white people, yeah. Like not you get the surfer types, but you would mainly get a whole bunch of white people that got tattoos. They got a whole bunch of town.
When I say surfer, I'm talking about LA surfer, like like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that
you get
skater dude.
You get those like rich upper echelon ones that are like the Beach Boy, like Cali type people. But everybody's cool in the West, like. It's almost like everybody smokes weed over there. Everybody probably does smoke weed over there, obviously.
Hey, real quick, though. We had a little comment. Fresh kids today went to Cooper Elementary. How about y'all? I went to Zion Prep.
Madrona K-8, man. Come on, in the East.
Come on. I was in the South with it, man. I'm a South End, baby. But, you know, we all come together.
But, yeah, I mean, the West, especially playing baseball, the only time we went to West Seattle was, like, playing at Pac West, really, and that's kind of like Burien or Southwest and everything. And then, of course, football at Southwest. Our cousin Nino, R.I.P. Nino, he and they actually, I didn't even know this, but Aunt Roberta just told me that they renamed Chief Sealth Stadium the Southwest or the Southeast. Is that Southeast or Southwest? Because Rainier Beach is Southeast. Yeah. But Southwest Complex, they named after Nino. It's the Nino Stadium.
That's hella
dope.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's my cousin. Like, he's a groundskeeper, and he used to always shout me out every time I entered the field, and it'd be like fourth quarter, 10 seconds left, and he'd be like, John Jones stepped out on the field, like, you gonna call my name out?
We down by 20.
Everybody knows. There's only like 15 seconds left, But yeah, like that just lets you know that our connection to West Seattle is so deeply rooted is that, our family, it just got named after him too. So it's just like, it's still there. And obviously Tyrell and Muffin in Maine, growing up in West Seattle across from what's that school? Where the old Chief Sealth used to be, where where Cleveland moved to. When Cleveland was getting built, that little alternative school kind of thing in the West.
West Seattle High? What are you talking
about? It's literally that school that's on Dale Ridge Way, right after you pass the community center and everything, and it's a school on the left hand side.
That's not a high school though, right? It's elementary.
Yeah, it's elementary now.
You talking about Tops? No.
Nah.
It might be Dale Ridge Elementary. I don't know.
It's something different. It's like It's like a alternative school now.
I was about to say, I don't know the names of half the schools nowadays.
Facts. But it's over by that food truck that got the mac and cheese.
Oh.
Not even food truck, but kitchen.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know that school.
Yeah. Overall, West Seattle, man, that's... we fuck with it, man. Hey, West Seattle is a beautiful place to live.
Yeah, shout out to West, man.
I mean, everybody growing up in Seattle has always dreamt of having a house in West Seattle. Exactly. And that's just facts.
That's just facts for sure.
You can't even hate on the West.
You can't beat that view.
Not only the West, but I also, from a South End baby's perspective, we also dreamed of being on Rainier, having that Lake Washington view just right there between Richmond and South Bend. And that's just always where Ichiro's old house was too.
Yeah.
Where the Vaughns live? Yeah, my dad helped build that house, but like once I got older, I realized that I don't want to watch this. I don't want the sun in my windows every sunrise. Like I actually want to have the sunset. Like I'd rather have the Seattle sunset that I look at than the sunrise, because the sunrise is bright.
Yeah.
When it peaks over the mountains, it's bright.
Like, I love that. I love the mornings. I'm a morning guy, so we to each their own for sure. But let's get into North Seattle. I don't got too much about North Seattle, just besides growing up. My grandma Chris lived out there. Mm-hmm. My first, my earliest days, me and my mom lived up there. On my birth certificate, I have a Greenwood address for North Seattle on my birth certificate. So, shout out North Seattle. You're like the first area that really I had my first breaths in. I don't remember too much about the North end, but yeah, that's what I can say about the North. How about y'all?
I gotta say, shout out the North, man. It's a movement. I remember. That was probably the first side of Seattle that I've ever really traveled to. Just being born and raised in the east, in the central area of Seattle. My parents would always go up. My grandma would always go up to Northgate. Northgate was definitely popping back then when it was out. Shoot, the North. I mess with the North now. Like you said, Greenwood. I'd love to move to Greenwood. If I could get any house right now, it'd be Greenwood because it's close to Seattle. But it's not, you don't get all that traffic. You don't get none of that crazy stuff that's going on in the city right now. But you don't have to move all the way out to Everett, or something stupid deep, in order to get away from it. It's literally right there.
Facts.
So Greenwood is super sneaky, and they got the Woodland Park Zoo.
Yep.
Man, it's sneaky. Like, people don't talk about that place over there. There's not.
For sure.
There's a whole bunch of bars, and they got nightlife over there. Yeah. It's their own community too.
Yeah, so. They got their own. Community that they keep cultured. They're able to keep it cultured because obviously gentrification involves white people, and that's real Scandinavian and Norwegian over there. Yep. Because it's over by kind of Ballard and the fishing ports and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But North Seattle for me has always been it's always been just more of I've gotten the industrial side of things to where growing up, my mom, she's real crafty, and she likes sewing things and making our regalia for powwow dancing and stuff like that, or our costumes, trick-or-treating, and just overall just stuff like that, just anything to deal with sewing and being crafty and stuff. So I spent a lot of time growing up going to the art shops up there over by Northgate. I think it just closed down not too long ago. But it was I didn't even know it was that famous, but it was super famous costume shop over there. And we used to go almost every year, and it was a thing for us to do that. But that, and of course my dad coaching sports and stuff, the 3GI Sports, that's over by UW. They're the ones that supply a lot of the athletic gear for the little leagues and stuff like that, whether you need baseball helmets to football helmets to shoulder pads and stuff like that. So, I spent a lot of time up there like that. And, of course, I was homeschooled early, in HRC, Homeschool Resource Center up north and stuff like that. And I ended up going to Madrona, just so happenly, when they were at Lincoln in the north end. And that really put an emphasis on the north to where I was aware of my surroundings and aware of what else was nearby. After school, being that it was so far away, if my dad or mom did pick me up, which it was a rarity, during those times, but we'd go to the Dick's over in Lake City, or freaking I think that Taco Time is still looking like that, where it's the reflective Taco Time still.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. And then I don't know if Lou went through this, but I was a part of the Operation School Bill, where we got free clothes through the school district and stuff, and that was literally right next door to Lincoln. It was a whole house that you went into, and it was you could personally shop. We got collared shirts. Obviously, we went to a uniform school, so we had to get uniform stuff and everything. And Operation School Bill was, obviously funded by the school district to get free clothes to families in need and stuff like that, free backpacks and all that. So, yeah, it was like anytime I was up north, it was like, I don't know, it's just never been my type of environment to where I felt like this is a place to where I could stay, like live.
Exactly.
But
it's hard, but
it's still like, you know, it's like an ally.
Yeah,
like
it's an ally area.
It's a good ally area.
It provides lots of resources, you know.
Lots of resources.
You know, lots of resources over there. A lot of things to do over there because, you know.
For sure.
Without having to move south. South doesn't have too much, but.
Yeah.
And I will say though, like just in the recent, just past year or so, like before, or I'll say 2 years ago, just you know, I know Cuddy T has passed it about a year ago now, so long live Rich Rail. But he was living in the north, you know, and it was his neighborhood was so nice, and you know, going over there, he was the reason why I was even going to the north end. So
facts.
Thank you for helping me go up there some more. Since you know, I haven't really been up there too much since you know I was born out there, and you know, me and my mom's first little spot was over there.
Facts.
Yeah. So North Seattle, y'all, it's a good spot, allies, but not as much on the culture side, but a beautiful place nonetheless.
Oh yeah, for sure. All of Seattle is beautiful. You know.
Shout out to the North, man.
But shout out to North. You know, my mom graduated from Roosevelt too, so.
Let's get into the South End. We're gonna say the Central for the last because that's right in the heart of the city. So let me get into the South End. Yeah, you know, it's got a big place in my heart because you know my years going to Zion Prep Academy, the all black African American Academy.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I went there until they shut that thing down, man. And Doug Willard, the founder of that school, he was in foster care with my grandpa Leon Hendrix, and you know they had the same foster family. So we're tied in with the Willers, and I hope one day we can get another school opened up like that's an all black school here in Seattle because I'm still tied in with all my friends from there, all my Zion friends.
Absolutely.
Still tapped in. And just growing up on Banger Street, and it's like, Skyway, South End area.
Yeah.
Right, right by the fam. Skip, you lived in the South End for a good time. And Lou, you always was out there when I was growing up. So how you guys feel about the South End, man?
Yeah. I mean, that's my second home right there. That's my second neighborhood for sure. Like,
come on.
For sure.
Like, of course, I was a CD baby, but, gentrification, a lot of us got moved out to the South. You know, that if you wanted to stay in Seattle, you're just going to move to South Seattle.
Nice.
And so I lived over in Othello once I got in high school, and that's when I was like really in the South End a lot, and I was like booking it from Garfield half the day, then going to Rainier Beach the second half to finish out school. So it was amazing, man. But I mean, what I would say with like the South End, there's not too much to do. I mean, we got a couple community centers out there, but I mean overall, I'd say it's like.
Besides like going to like Sewer Park.
That's what I'm saying. You have to make your own.
It's more about the people in the South End more than going
in
places.
In the South End, you have to make your own fun. There isn't like places to go. Like there's no buildings that are gonna sit. Create your fun for you.
In downtown South End, like Columbia City, they're not going for that now. The gentrification and then like the
Columbia City's
the Rainier Beach area is not the same no more.
You could kind of say that there is shit to do in the South End. It just depends on your just type of fun. I mean. Same thing with anywhere around the city, because they've closed a lot of things down.
I mean, I'm saying, like, South End, what bars are in the South End? What clubs
That's what
are
I'm
in the
saying.
South End? Like,
all you guys, the Esquire for the old heads.
There's
the Esquire for the old heads.
I'm saying.
Nothing in the South End for entertainment-wise. Skyway, when you get up to Skyway, you're good. You got everything you need. And then in Renton, you're really good. But other than that, South Seattle is desert
But that's
land.
because you can't. Like
you can't. You can't. It's too
you
dangerous.
understand the neighborhood if you're from there.
Yeah.
You understand the circumstances. Like
sadly, businesses don't work out too long.
I wouldn't even want to party in the South End. Like I didn't even like going to parties in the South End. I didn't even like throwing parties at my house in the South End.
Man.
But if you want a party to happen, you just gotta suck it up and do it. But you gotta deal with those consequences too.
The yacht club or the marina club.
Oh, the Rainier Yacht Club?
Man,
Come on.
Rainier
We used to
Yacht
have
Club,
many.
yeah,
Man,
that was-
let me just say a little something about that. R.I.P. to my dog Ezra, y'all. Like, come on. I had to say that
R.I.P.
because
to Ezra.
many
Rest
times
in
me,
peace,
Gerald, and
Ezra.
Ezra slid down to the Rainier Yacht Club, and we were the main giggers in the middle of the bunch
Come
and just
on.
breaking stuff down. You know how
Every
Seattle
time,
gigs get.
every time.
Come on.
Well, I mean,
That's what I'm saying. South End holds a lot of like those cultural moments. I'd have to say
Exactly,
For me.
like-
obviously the CD too, but like the South End, it's all love. Like it's crazy. It's
because
love and hate too at the same time. Because I've seen a lot of people get taken out you know, but they all live in the same neighborhood, you know. They're all been homies and all that stuff.
And there's one thing I can say that from all 4 parts of Seattle, the most inner beef in between its own part is in my area, the South End. Like, our hood hates the other parts from our hood. Like, it's so weird. There's so many areas within our South End area that they don't get along. But it's like, you go to the West, they're all on code. You go to the East, they pretty much all on code. You know, the North, they pretty much all on code. But it's like, the South End is like everyone for themselves. And
it's because everybody got that space. South End is tight. Yeah. It's tight. Not that large of like a, you know, like.
What's crazy is the South End's large as fuck, though. Like, when you think about it.
Like, you said the South End?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to include Lake Washington, South End.
I'm saying
South Side.
South End starts at Franklin and goes all the way to, you could throw in Skyway. Like, it
goes all the way to the it goes all the way to the Renton Airport. I'll say that.
Yeah. That's a long way. And basically, I mean, to put some clarity around their beef is because when you have people who grew up around each other and they have this certain just like it's almost like they want to have a certain edge on the next man, so they put us. It's like people who like.
It's a competition,
like
crab barrel.
It's real. Like, you know, obviously, you know, we've been trying to destroy this narrative for so long. You know, the crab in a barrel theme that builds around Seattle. You know, not just artists, but business owners and entrepreneurs and people who just have any type of idea, you know, people will shoot it down type thing. But it's like almost in the South End, like, you know, there's strong unity in certain places, but there's just people who just have it's like they have their own mission, and their mission is to ruin everybody else's mission. Like, that is their true mission.
Get that mission done at all costs.
Exactly. So you have those people who just linger around these crowds, and it's like, obviously now with modern times, you know, we've kind of just came more acceptable to real recognizes real. You have people who are collaborating from the South End to the CD to the West, and people who are now moving around getting money. People see that, but there's people who are in the South End seeing those South End people move around getting money with everybody else. They're like, oh, they just want to get money and get rid. But so they're just gonna hate on them. They're not gonna hate on anybody else. They're just gonna hate on them because they're the nearest person that they can easily reachable. Like, they're still in the South End.
Yeah, we're stuck in a cold system.
So it's like
cold cycle.
Yeah, it's tough. But you know, this is obviously no pointing fingers. I'm not talking about nobody specifically. Like, I don't know who exactly, you know, is like this, but I know there's people like that. Like, that's what stigmatizes the whole situation is
and
that.
From me spending the most time, like, well, personally me, most of my time in the South, and I can agree with that. I can agree to that point for sure, Skip. I got you. Like, it is agreeable that, like, it be our own people, but for South End, it really be our own. Like, you never know. Like, it's so much politics, and it's so weird in South End. It's definitely different than all three of the areas.
Because if you think about it, the South Seattle is getting, like, it gets Central District's talent, it gets Tuckwillah's talent, it gets Renton's talent. Like, all these people
Kent's talent
are. Like, I'm talking about all the closest places to it. Like, people that would come, you know, that are coming and, you know, to the city and doing whatever they're doing, and then, you know, leaving and going back home or whatever the case may be. But it's I don't know. It's different for the South End. I definitely gotta say it's South End special. Yeah. That's definitely something.
I'll say this too. Like, the most people who wanted, and this is again not saying anybody's names. If the shoe fits, the shoe fits. But This is just what kind of introduces and fuels that whole narrative. Is you got a lot of people at the South End more than anywhere in the whole city, to where people will bust it just to claim a certain hood, just to be on that block. But there is people who are on that block, that live on that block, that are from that block, that don't want to be on that block all day, and they're actually from there. So, like, you have, you know. Me, I grew up I lived in the South End, but I grew up in the CD, being that, you know, I went to school in the CD, played sports in the CD.
Panthers.
And this is my whole family. Like, it was just how we moved. But I had to take the bus. I had to make that bus trip from the South End to the CD every day. And that's what introduced me to the streets and really being involved like that, as far as being known, and people just know what I'm about, and just, you know, as far as, that whole growing up, thing that people know your story.
Exactly.
But for a lot of people don't know their story because they fantasized about being from the South End. They fantasized about being from the CD. They fantasized about being from a hood. So they'll bust it all the way every morning from Kent and skip school every day, or from Tukwila, or from Renton, or from anywhere else, just to come to the South End and be posted on the block and try to terrorize people like they're from that block.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because it's actually a generation. It's a generation of it's a result of the gentrification. Yeah. We are experiencing the result of the gentrification with these younger kids who obviously their parents, their older siblings, all of us. Like, think about your sister, your little sister. Yeah. All of us are CD babies, actual Seattle hits. Facts. She is too, because she really did.
I mean, she's in that viral video. Remember,
she experienced a lot in Seattle. She went to middle school.
Exactly.
She grew up
elementary.
All up to, but at the same time,
Emerson,
it's like
in the South End. Yeah.
Like, some siblings, they're going to be those siblings that don't get that experience and never will. But as they become kids, they're definitely going to. They're still CD, and by blood, they're still CD, baby. Yeah. They know all the CD knowledge. They know all the South End knowledge. So they think they have that cultural right to come back and rep. I mean, and I can't blame you for that. It's like if I had a kid, am I going to tell him,
you're not from the CD.
You're not from the CD. You're not from the South End. But, even though we got a house, we have a house in Kent. You grew up in Kent. You're from Kent, buddy. You're from Kent, but I'm not.
But why? I will touch on that again though, because like me growing up in the South End, like going to all the South End parties, and that was the only thing we knew. Like, man, R.I.P. Tana Money, but he was at all the South End parties growing up, right?
Yes, sir. He grew up.
Back then, the people that were a part of the hood. They would be at the parties just to protect. Like, we were in there just having fun, dancing, like just always having good energy.
Absolutely.
And the protectors of the South End, like, we don't have that no more. I'll say it for the South End. We don't have no protectors anymore. Facts. I feel like the South End is just the Wild West, and if people claim it, you can't really prove it.
Fact check them.
You can't really fact check it. Like, oh well, like I actually was able to meet Tana. He was always cool with me. Always good energy.
Sure. Well, so he was in the neighborhood. Like,
come on, that's what I'm saying. So like, we were
to beach on a bicycle. Like,
that's
if you're
what I'm
doing
saying.
Stuff like that. But you're from there.
Exactly.
You're
But what I'm getting at is though, like, a lot of these little kids never met Tana, but now they rep his his clique or whatever, and they come from, like you said, Auburn, Kent. Puyallup, just to come into the South End and post up on the railing like Tana did and try to be from the South End just because you're from south of Seattle, the city. Yeah. So I see how it goes. So
then you just have it all around the board because, like you said, there's now these cliques, like this modern era of, I can be from this clique in this clique just because it's placed in a certain area. It's basically me.
I can rep that clique from mobile.
From that clique, like
Yeah, for sure. And now back in the day that wasn't right. Yeah. That wasn't gonna fly.
Well, the whole thing is, and that's what there's
no way
they're still dealing with it today, is because when you have cliques, you don't have any solidification to a certain gang or a certain OG that can guide you. You don't have any real representation. So it's been a thing with these cliques that
and South End is the city of the cliques because think about West Seattle, East Seattle, and North Seattle. You can only think about one or two main gangs, right? But in South Seattle, there's at least 5+, which is crazy.
Yeah. But you have a lot of diversity, and that's
it's diversity for sure. But I'm just saying, like,
because you have Asian gangs, you have Samoan gangs, you have African gangs, you have African American gangs. So I mean, it's just all across the board. I think there's like 2 to 3 Asian gangs that are active. There's obviously one Samoan gang that's active. They're all SOS.
Yeah, there's a lot of
There's a couple African gangs. Obviously, we know Holly Park, but
Militia Molly Bob.
We know Rainier Vista. We know historically Yesler, in the East was active and everything like that. So I mean, there's always been this diversity, but now you have this clique thing to where all you have to do is know a handshake and you're from the clique. And you could be from anywhere in Washington. Like, you got people who are claiming, South End, who are probably in Spokane and shit like that. So it's like...
let's touch on that because...
5 hours away, man. How long you going to take to get
touch
to
on
the
that. Hey, touch on that, Skip, because look, People think that the little finger thing, they don't know the real meaning behind that. And like growing up, if you did that finger thing, it really meant you were from South Seattle. And then if you didn't do it, it meant you were from a different area. But now I feel like every single person from Seattle as a whole, you just do it. But they don't know when you lock your fingers like that, it makes the S for South Seattle.
They be looking at me funny, like, oh, you're not with it?
You're not with it?
What?
With what? I'm not from there.
I'm from the town. I know the town handshake. I know that one too, and that one comes with consequences.
And y'all know I had to save the best for last because I know it holds a special dear place in your heart.
Oh man!
Let me know how you felt about CD, Central Seattle, East Seattle, otherwise known. Let me know how y'all felt about that. I know it's special to y'all.
Well, now it's filled with a lot of heartbreak. You're talking about a lot of places that you can't go. You can't really go anywhere in the CD and have a good time. It wasn't until our family communion opened up their restaurant / bar to where there's actually place of solidarity that we could go to comfortably and we could feel at least welcome in that setting. But as far as places to kick it, this is just like the South End. You got to go to Cap Hill, to really get an experience at a bar or anything, or really have anything to do. There's nothing to do in the CD, and there never really was to begin with. And that's just kind of how we made that our culture, though. We made it our culture to be at the park. We made it our culture to do stuff that was more outside rather than inside and doing something just on the phone type thing. We were a lot more community driven,
community based, definitely
as far as really visiting everybody just to say hi. It didn't even have to be if you wanted to go in and buy something from the store. It was just making sure your face was seen. So I mean,
everybody knew everybody's family. Like, oh, you look just like what so and so. Oh,
facts.
Oh, is that your dad? Oh yeah, okay. I knew that.
Facts.
It's crazy. I've never I think having that experience was definitely like a one of a kind thing, because especially as Black people, maybe in like projects and stuff around the nation, but to know every single Black person in your neighborhood and who their family is and things like that, that's not normal over here. Not anymore.
Exactly.
Not anymore.
If I see someone down the street, a Black person, I wouldn't know left from right, from who. I don't know if they're from Washington at this point.
Exactly.
You don't know anything. There's people coming from Texas and California and hella places. Just, man, it's crazy.
Facts.
It's crazy. My city has really changed, and it's like you said, it's heartbreaking to see. Yeah. Because we've had the MLK portrait, that one got defamed on MLK Day.
Yep, on MLK Day.
Would have never happened. That would have never happened.
Yeah.
Never. Never. If we all still lived in that neighborhood, someone would have seen something.
Yeah.
And someone would have said something, like someone would have yelled, "Stop! It's crazy.
Shit. The facts.
The fact that they're trying to just change everything now and just.
Yeah. But I'm saying the facts on Cherry.
Yep, you see
now
there.
It's a dog grooming place.
I'd never seen a dog in there.
Yeah, I still haven't seen
out of it.
I still haven't seen a dog in there.
I don't know what that building is, but someone needs to inspect it. I'm glad the facts are still.
ASAP.
Yeah, I'm glad the facts are still out though. At least, because they were talking about it, being canceled and no longer becoming a newspaper, and we still needed that source.
Yeah,
and we know the truth for overall that in the 1980s it was 90% African American in the Central District, and now it's under 10% African American. I know now it's super heartbreaking, but I do want you guys to touch on growing up, some of the good memories of the old Central District. What do you remember about that?
Oh man,
well I just remember being able to after school. It wasn't. So this is just, a crazy flashback. But after school, it just wasn't like your only destination was to go home. Go straight home. It was like the options are open now. It was like,
what are we doing
right
next?
after school? Right after school got out, it was like I could go anywhere in the world, and I could have the time of my life. At the Madrona Library, which is right across the street. I spend a lot of time there, but, the Madrona Park,
Stupid time at Madrona Park.
Stupid time. There used to be the barbershop right across the street from Madrona, 206 Studio 206.
Yep.
They had the cuts on deck. Everybody had the fresh lineups and everything, double lineups. We had that early 2000s. And then on top of that, they were selling the see-through remember the see-through Air Forces?
Air Forces, all that.
All that, yeah. All that. And then, of course, my Aunt Roberta at the time, growing up, like, right when Madrona had first opened, she lived on Union, literally a block down from Madrona. So sometimes I'd pop by her house with my older brother Andrew, and it was literally like anywhere we could go. Like, and of course, just going to classmates' house, like, you know, when we got to middle school, going to Mala's house before the track meets or track practice or just anything. We were just running around the CD. And then track practice, Lou remembers this, track practice, we would run down to Madrona Beach, but we'd always find new ways to go down there, and we'd do some exploring. And man, the trail where it's like an obstacle course, where it's like a rope you gotta climb to get up the hill.
In the woods
it was like that. Literally, like, it was like, man.
Someone man-made the hell out of that thing.
But as kids, we really had fun, like, doing that stuff. Like, it was like Islandwood, and for those who don't know Islandwood, you know, it's over in Bainbridge Island, and it's like a facility that's in the middle of a forest on Bainbridge Island, a natural forest and everything, and they have like obstacle courses, and they have like a whole bunch of stuff that you can do that, you know, it doesn't cost electricity, or it doesn't, you know, all of it is literally stuff that, you know, you can do with your hands and your feet, and it's
natural,
all
free, organic work.
Yeah, facts. And it was just like growing up in that setting, it made us appreciate, you know, nature and stuff, you know, that much more. But it also just
especially
made us appreciate the community, you know,
and definitely
realize what we had in front of us. Like, I would never ever, like, that's what I'm saying, you know, I could never imagine living in another place in the world other than Seattle, because I know I could never get this anywhere else. Like, you know, mountains, hills, a random obstacle course in the forest, like, type thing. Like, you won't find that anywhere else. And until you see it, that's when, you know, you'll be like, yeah, everywhere it's like almost like truly just scenic, and it's an experience. But growing up in the CD, it was really like also kind of eerie, because we would run by Kurt Cobain's house and stuff like that, and you just kind of get that feel, like, every time you're over there, you know, just that feel of the neighborhood. You get that, you know, Seattle feel.
That Grinch.
Yeah.
That Grinch, the grime. But yeah, love the CD, bang. Born and raised in the Valley.
Love it.
Met so many people there. That's I think that's really what it is. The community. So many people that I've met there, and I mean, seeing people come and go. Some people are gone. You know, it's a beautiful thing, but at the same time, it's the way of the world, and it's definitely opened my eyes to, like, just how us as human beings, like, move. Yeah. You know, so definitely gotta give a shout out to the love, though.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope some way in the future, like, you know, as we're raising our kids, they do something just to make some type of black community again within Seattle, whether it's the West, North, Central, or South. Like, we just need, like, an African American, you know, foundational Black American, you know, descendants of slavery. We need that community back here in Seattle for sure. Yeah. There's many African American immigrants that are coming from, you know, other countries, whether it be Trinidad, Caribbean, Jamaica, Africa continent, but it's like our FBAs are getting forgotten about, the foundational Black Americans. And we'll close the show out talking about the Grammys, because we seen that a reggae group, which consisted mainly of white artists, was able to win the reggae award. And now there's a big outrage from the Jamaicans who created reggae, you know, with, you know, rest in peace, Bob Marley. There's an outrage now, but people gotta see that this has been happening to the African Americans with hip hop for the past, for Grammys as well.
Absolutely.
And now they're starting to see that the other African immigrants are trying to see, wow, this kind of white supremacy thing is a big deal, and they're gonna move in and take over our culture slowly but surely, and they gotta come work with us, because I feel like the white supremacists are just dividing and conquering us, and we need to come together for a better goal, for sure.
Well, I think it just comes down to the Grammys in general being this white hope that black artists need. I feel like once we get rid of this stigma of having this white validation behind us, to where we have to feel approved by white people to feel the true success and the true meaning of winning something, winning an award of having the best song, because everybody on this planet knows that Essence by Wizkid and Tim's is by far the #1 song that has been produced within this decade, to me, that has really been transitional across the board, from R&B, reggaeton, hip-hop, all across the board. Everybody knows this song, relates to this song, agrees that this is the best song. Like, you can't have anything greater than that, and they still didn't get nominated nor win, of course. But until we get that, and all in response that you heard was, well, why don't we have an award show ourselves? We've been talking about this for decades.
Decades.
Like, we've had money to do this. It doesn't take money to do this.
And that's the white plight, because look,
it does not.
As a globe, the whole globe somehow is being, dominated by white rule, which, I'm not trying to be like focus on them, but I'm saying that the white population, whether it be European or Caucasians here in America, is only 10% of the planet, yet they dominate 100% of all the other races. 90% of Africa's resources are like endowed to whites and Chinese. Like, they sold it all away. That's why a lot of the Africans come over here. They have to flee Africa to come here. And then they come to the United States, and they're still under white rule in a different way, in more of a systematic way.
Yeah. It's
crazy. Only 10% of the world's population is white. Yeah. White people, what they say matters. Yeah. Very, very interesting, for sure.
Because all they do, it's until we see the issue with, the treatment of Africans as synonymous with the way that they treat us, that's when we'll obviously find a true resolution. Because all they do is they say the same thing to them that they say to us about reparations. They say that, why don't you guys just forget about it? Why don't you guys just make your own? Why don't you guys pull yourself up by your own bootstraps? You guys have your own award for the Grammys. Why don't you guys use that? But then, in the same breath, we'll give awards to Adele, to Ed Sheeran, to Lorde, to all these other international white artists. But
for appropriating the black culture.
And they appropriate. That's all that they do. They make songs that are cross-cultural songs. The ones that, Adele had I don't want to tear out Adele because she's extremely talented. But, she knows that she feeds off a lot of Beyonce, just as, much
let's be real. The first time you heard Adele, who'd you think was singing? And you didn't see her face first. When I first heard her on the radio, I was like, this sister can sing. And then they came out with the big, burly, woman. I was like, oh, wow. It threw me for a loop, for sure.
Ed Sheeran, Sam Smith. We could go down the line. And what? What are you going to just chalk it up to? Because at the end of the day, it's just because they're white. That's the reason why they are still awarded in American awards, and they're not American. Exactly. And then you make an excuse for Wizkid not getting an award as he's African. That's just plain racism. So, hopefully we can find a resolution soon, but, until us black artists, don't need that white validation, and we can truly accept that, it doesn't have to be the Source Awards, it doesn't have to be, Jet Magazine Awards.
BET
Awards. It doesn't have to be those. We could have our own validation system, but, all that matters is, all it would take is for us to come together as a community, as a group,
have that conversation,
but also realize that the power is within us. The same thing as to why I said, why are all these black artists, whether it's hip hop, reggaeton, reggae, R&B, they say they're blackballed by these venues constantly. These venues would rather book white artists and stuff and pay them appropriately. And they're always getting the lesser of that. Why don't these black artists create their own venues? Why doesn't Drake have his own venue? Because he's half white. Why doesn't anybody have their own venue? Because they need that white validation.
Not only that, but Drake's half white, like Canadian, and like he not gonna be tripping about us.
He's white at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, he's more rocking with Canada, and Canada didn't have the slavery stuff.
And he uses us for profit. Until we recognize that as a culture, that's when we'll see progress. Is that we need our own venues, we need our own awards, and until that comes, we'll never see the right validation. We'll never see the true validation of who deserves what they deserve.
Yeah, Lou, what'd you think about the Grammys though?
I mean,
I didn't watch him. But
I didn't even know they happened until I heard that Jskip wasn't even nominated, and that just blew my mind. So
I don't have to watch it to understand the Grammys.
The Grammys, man, we know the truth, y'all. The Grammys do not make us. We make the Grammys. They have to have a hip hop section because hip hop's the #1 genre in the world. So they would look goofy if they didn't. But overall, y'all, we went a little bit longer than normal.
Hey,
we hit the hour mark, so
come on,
close them out, y'all. We had a good show. Parts of Seattle. Comment down below where y'all from.
Come on, we from the east side, you know.
East side, CD, CD or see me all day, every day.
Come on.
I'm Xiao Fin, baby boy. Come on.
So everybody have a good one, and thank y'all for tapping in to another Town Talk Tuesday. This is Weatherman Lou.
Jskip, Skip Jones.
Your boy Jorge. Tap in to the 70-degree weather on Thursday. We back, y'all.
Come on, sun shining.
Doses.